Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Illuminance podcast. And in this episode, I received a download to talk about the area of love. And I'm going to allow what needs to come through in this episode to simply to come through. I'd like to explore the area of what love means for us as HSPs, as high sensory people, as the highly sensitive person, depending on the phrase that you like to use, and to open up this area in a way that allows us to start to get honest about what our relationship with love really is and how we can really begin to take ownership of our ability to build really quite a profound relationship with love. Let's dive in.
Illuminance specializes in developing sensory processing sensitivity, a natural high sensory intelligence present in 30% of the population, co-creating with the power of humanity to consciously evolve towards balance.
Hello, and a very warm welcome. I am very excited to be joining you here today, your host, Willow McIntosh, the founder of Illuminance and creator of the High Sensory Method, where we shall be talking about this wonderful area of love. So, first of all, let me be clear on what I mean by this area of love. Now, means different things to different people, of course. In my experience of learning Greek, it was amazing to me that the ancient Greeks actually had 6 words for love because love is used in so many different contexts. The love that we have for our cat, for our husband, for our car, for our family, it's all different types of love. But in English, we only have one word. And in this episode, I'd actually like to talk about my relationship with love and what that really means for me, in order to invite you to feel into what this area really means for you and what your relationship with it really is. During my training a few years ago, when I was invited to consider the importance of my relationship with love, it was a really big moment for me. And I realized that I experience love in a very specific way and actually quite different, I realized, to the people around me. And it's not to say that people around me perhaps weren't having a deep experience with love, but it certainly wasn't something that I was able to talk about, or maybe even inviting them to share with me what their real experience of love is. And it is a big area. And there are many different aspects, of course, to consider here. And when we do consider the relationship with our partners, with our friends, with our dog, with our family, whatever it may be, for the purposes of this episode, I'd actually like to talk about the greater sensory experience of love. And when I first started thinking about this myself and started to consider, what this really meant, because it was such a big experience when I was invited to really be honest about this relationship. And I realized that it wasn't just about the love that I had for particular people in my life, but it was also the relationship that I have with love as a greater force in the world. And I realized that my relationship with the good that's in the world and the relationship with the energetic flow that I experience in the world, that many of us experience, the feeling of sitting in nature and immersing myself into the deeper sensory connection of nature and of the bigger context, I would start to get this really deep experience with love. And that is when I was really able to start to get honest about what my experience really was, because it was actually a big immersive experience of love with a capital L. In other words, an experience of this knowing that there is a greater force of love that is within me, and that is flowing through all things. And whilst that might sound a bit like a spiritual cliche, we're all kind of we're all used to hearing those terms. The reason why I really want to talk about this today is because for us as HSPs, we're actually having a visceral experience like that. And the reason that's the case is because we have an ability to be able to process the world around us at a sensory level, at a deeper cognitive level within us. So if you think about our sensory ability is picking up on the truths and realities in our existence. And yes, each of our senses, of course, are just picking up on what's literally happening around us. If we're sitting in a forest, maybe, then we're smelling the pine. If we're in a pine forest, we're hearing nature doing its thing, and we're having those five sense experience that is just kind of on the surface level of what's actually happening. But then there is this ability that we have to really feel at a sensory level more of what's happening. So we are tuning into that greater emotional, spiritual, intuitive, empathic part of ourselves that really begins to feel the energy of what we're sitting in. So, for instance, when we are sitting in a forest, or if I speak from my own experience, when I'm sitting in a forest and I'm meditating, I start to feel this immersive, energetic experience with love. And that for me feels like a connection to something that is greater than me. It feels like I am connecting with a highly benevolent intelligence that is incredibly peaceful, whilst also incredibly intricate and busy in its movement. Busy is not quite the right word, but it's a very active energy that is really a higher intelligent force that is moving through everything. And again, I'm not making these words up because that's what I've heard somewhere, or something, that's the right thing to say if we're spiritual. That is an actual experience that I have, which is really important to me, really important to me. And as I say that, I feel this sensation in my heart area around this relationship and the importance of this relationship. And when I consider what that really is, it is the foundation to everything that I stand for. What's most important to me in my life is that I serve that force, whether we refer to that force as love, source energy, God, whatever it may be. That ability that I have to experience and immerse myself in that energy is what is guiding me, and it is what represents the core values of who I am and what I'm here to do. So everything that I'm doing in my life and in my work is in support of helping that movement to do its best to make the world, to support the world to move into a better place. And again, I'm not just saying that because it feels like the right thing to say. I'm saying that because it's something that I've witnessed and experienced ever since I was a child, to be able to sit and to immerse in that sensory energetic experience, and to receive messages, and to have a cognitive connection and a heart connection and a soul connection with that energy that's around me. And I am aware of the fact that I am here in my own way to to be a vessel for that, and to do what it wants to do through me and with me. And there has been huge resistance in me to really honor that, ever since turning from a child into my teen years, and then coming into my young adulthood. In that period, it was really touch and go. There was so much happening, and as obviously I was developing into an adult, and then choosing the conventional path as an early adult, and feeling great confusion around trying to be normal and trying to fit in, and not really being truthful to my relationship with love in this way. And it took a lot of courage and a lot of honesty for me to come back into that inner connection, and to then refine the truth of my purpose, and to understand that my own high sensory abilities are really designed to serve love in a very particular way, as is the case for all of us. Once I allowed myself to admit to and become honest about what this deeper experience, this deeper energetic experience was, it then allowed me to realize that I needed to be in service to it. So then everything I'm doing in my work, all the HSPs I'm training, and the visions that I have for the business, and what I see in the world, is linked with this, with the messaging from this intelligence, which is hard to describe because I am clairsentient. So in other words, feelings are very much my language of how I work and how I receive information. So when I allow myself to immerse into that state, I then receive messaging, I receive guidance, and that helps me to understand that my greatest vision for the world is that we do move towards a balanced model of leadership where we are in connection to the greater good, the greater cause, and that we are living in harmony with the world, we're living in harmony with each other, and that we allow ourselves to move into a higher state of consciousness that begins to shift us out from the self-focused ego and negativity and greed that is causing so many problems in the world. And again, as you hear that, you might think, yeah, that sounds like a pipe dream. We all want that. In my heart, I am so convinced that we're capable of that shift as human beings. And I believe we are in that shift where we are actually raising consciousness, where we're going to let go of the grip that the ego and the lower self has over us. And we are going to move into this higher shift that's going to allow us to start to be in partnership with the world, and partnership with the truth of who we are inside, and the truth of that purpose. And I believe we are moving to a greater version of the world. Now, the point that I'm really making here is that my relationship with that energy that's behind everything is what is guiding me, and it's what is holding me on course to do my part in trying to fulfill that greater vision. And I think if we're all very honest about what we really want for the world, we all have a version of peace and balance. We all have a version of wanting to find well-being. We all, and most importantly, we all have a version in our hearts of what it means to really honor love and to be in relationship with love. And that we do have the capacity to let go of our more selfish, self-focused needs to then shift into a place of service and actually allow the world to come into a greater experience of love. I think in our hearts we all have an awareness of that, and we all want to see that in a particular way that we're really designed to serve. Now, the key point here around all of this is my invitation to consider your relationship with love, to allow yourself to open your heart, to sit in nature and allow the connection that you have with love to become apparent to you and allow it to guide you, but also to allow yourself to expand and open your heart in order to allow the love that is within us all to really begin to come forwards in a way where we feel more real in our hearts, where we feel more vulnerable to the empowerment that's within us by opening to or surrendering to the greater truth of our real identity, and how that makes such a massive difference in our lives, in our relationships, in our work, especially the relationship with ourself, where we're utilizing this high sensory ability that we have to be able to feel and understand the greater energetic forces that really are the basis to everything. To understand that if we allow ourselves to identify with our thoughts and our minds and our conditioning and the need to find status or the need to prove ourselves or the need to take in order to try to get more, I believe that we as high sensory people are able to discern between what's real and what isn't real, to discern between that experience of the full self identity that we have that feels contracted and it feels fearful and is out to, just to benefit itself. I believe that as HSPs we really have the ability to discern between those two states, to understand that we have the capacity to expand and to allow ourselves to be filled with this greater reality of this loving energy that is flowing through everything. And rather than just hearing my words around that, is actually to allow yourself to re-immerse with that and reconnect with that, and to allow it to flow through you in the way that it's designed to, and allow yourself to expand and allow yourself to come back into your body, which is where that connection resides, through our energetic centers, through our hearts, through the grounding of really being here in this body and in this world and in this greater vibrational energy that is, it's there. And I know as an HSP, it's there. And my invitation is to allow that to develop within you and allow yourself to trust it, to trust that there is this deeper sensory experience that allows you to connect with something higher that will guide you, that will help you to fulfill your purpose, that will help you to trust the flow of life, that it isn't down to us to control everything. And, there's that wonderful saying where, man plans and God laughs. It's amazing to consider just how much of life just happens whilst we are protesting and complaining in the background, going, "Oh, but I want it to be like this, and I want that to happen faster," and just how little of an effect that actually has on anything apart from making us miserable. And when we do let go, and again, if I speak to my experiences, when I do let go and I do trust that flow, and I think back around how much I've been supported and guided, and how I manifest things exactly as I need them and when I need them, and how all of that takes place much more easily when I am in a place of surrendered flow, then life works much more easily when I'm in a place of joy and fun and play and just in the wonder of this phenomenal flow that just makes life appear in front of me in the way that it does, rather than being in this restricted place of fear and control. And as HSPs, we really do glitch between those two states. We do allow ourselves to open and immerse ourselves in nature, and we have these amazing experiences. And then we tend to come back into our lives into this state of fear and into this state of, control again. And, again, it's an invitation to reconnect our experience with that greater force, with that loving energy that really knows what it's doing for the benefit of the world and for the benefit of us. I hope this has been helpful. And once again, if you're listening to this on YouTube, then let me know in the comments what your experience is about and how I can support you with this if I can. And to share this, if this resonates for you and you think, oh, someone else that I know could really listen to this, then please do share it. It's the more HSPs that we can get this message out to, the more that we can really engage this purpose that we have to raise frequency and to share this greater energetic experience that is the truth of life. We have such an opportunity to do that, and I believe a responsibility to do that. Please do write a review if you would like to, if you're listening to this on Spotify or through the Apple podcast. That really helps the algorithm to share and spread the message. And the more that we can activate and encourage HSPs to come forwards and be the truth of who they are, the more we can really help the world to step into this higher frequency that I believe we're all destined for. Thanks again for watching. Please do, again, feel free to check out the links below if you'd like to join our community and join the conversation. Or if there's any way that I can support you further, then please do reach out to us. You can email us at support@inluminance.com. For the spelling of that, you'll see that in the description. And take this with you into your day as an expanded embrace of this wonderful truth of you and this wonderful ability to truly experience the greater fabric of life and how that can truly guide us, serve us, support us, enjoy us, and enthuse us to do what we really want to do here. Thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.